The story of the Sufi and the boy who sold halwa, and the story of the man who scratched the lion's back. Long time ago, there was a Sufi who had a reputation for not hesitating to help poor people. He himself was poor and didn't own anything. Due to his good reputation, he was able to take loans from the rich people and give them to the poor or spend on good causes. He was able to pay his debts to the creditors by God's help. For a long time, the Sufi lived with dignity and honor, and he was remained faithful to his word until he was nearing the end of his life. Creditors came to collect what was owned by the man. They were sitting around him in despair, thinking that their loan would not be paid back. The Sufi owned 400 gold dinars, but it didn't seem that he was worried about it. He was calm and happy. The creditors, however, looked at him bitterly. The Sufi said to himself, "Look at these pessimistic people. How suspicious they are of the grace of God. They think that God doesn't have 400 gold dinars." In the meantime, the voice of a child who was selling halwa in the street reached the room the people were sitting in. The Sufi told his servant to go and get all the halwa the kid had, so that the creditors could eat it to raise their spirits and not look at him so bitterly. The servant immediately went out to get all the halwa. He asked the boy, "How much for all the halwa you have?" The boy said, "I'll sell all of it for half a dinar." The servant got all he had and put it all in the dish in front of the Sufi. The Sufi turned to the creditors and said, "This is a gift. Please enjoy." Everyone took a bite from the halwa, and after some time, the entire dish was empty. The boy took the dish and asked for his money. The Sufi replied, "I am a dying man. I don't have any money to give you." The boy put the dish on the ground and started crying. He sadly thought to himself, "I wish I had broken both of my legs and to not have come here." The boy said to the Sufi, "O Sufi, if I return empty-handed to my master, he will be very angry and punish me." The Sufi's creditors were heartbroken by the boy's plea and complained to the Sufi, "It isn't enough to steal our money? Now you're oppressing this poor boy too?" The boy was still crying, but the Sufi didn't seem to pay attention. He turned his face away from the people and covered it with a quilt to not hear the criticism. At once, the servant entered the room with a box in his hands. A rich person had sent a gift to the Sufi. There was 400 dinars in one corner and half a dinar in the other. When the servant opened the box, everyone asked in surprise, "Oh Sufi, what is behind this story?" Everyone was so ashamed of their rudeness and asked Sufi for forgiveness. The Sufi said, "I've forgiven all of you." When the hard-working and pure boy started crying and your hearts burned for him, the plea of God's mercy came to boil, and His mercy descended on the boy. Haven't you heard the story of a pure person who cried a lot because of his separation from the divine? One day, someone told him, "You're going to lose your sight if you cry a lot." The pure person replied, "If I may get to see the divine but I lose my eyes, it'll be worth it to me, and I won't have any sorrows about it. But if I never see him, then I have no need for the eyes anyway." The Sufi continued, "But you should remember that crying and reciting God's name mindlessly and disregarding His dignity and greatness is futile. Just like a villager who tied his cow to a pole in the barn and left. One night, a giant lion came to the barn, killed the cow, and rested in its place. The naive villager came back to the barn in the middle of the night to visit the cow as he always did. He started caressing his cow, thinking that it was his dear cow, and disregarding the greatness of the lion. The lion thought to himself, "If the black tent of the night didn't cast a shadow on me, the villager could have seen me and would have died out of fear." The Sufi then closed his eyes and passed in peace. In this story, Rumi tries to say that what makes our body worthy is the purity of heart and seeking the truth behind this world. If we don't use our body to seek the truth, our body is worth nothing. So lamenting only has place for getting closer to the truth and God, not for whims or desires of the material world. Thanks for watching this video. If you like to see more of Rumi's stories, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I'll see you soon!